Welcome to Security with Spirits. I'm your host, Jason, and I'm joined at the bar by
Ben, Jonathan,
and Tony. We'll tell you what to drink while we tell you about why we drink.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to your favorite podcast. If it's not your favorite podcast, it should be. I am Jason, and this week I'm just caught in a routine. So, same old basic Buffalo Trace bourbon, but it's delicious and it's my trusty drink, and that's what I'm sticking to. Ben, what do you got?
So I got this bottle of Claremont Steep, and it's an all barley single malt whiskey, 100% hand selected malted barley. And so I thought, I don't know if it got that cork pull or not. Thought I'd try this out live.
Ooh,
the glugs
that's
there.
A good sound.
But I think I'm trying to remember. I think one of you guys got this for me. So finally trying it out. It smells really sweet. Got that caramely kind of smell. Super smooth. Oh man, it goes down easy.
Thanks for making the mouth water.
It's very tasty. It's 94 proof. It's pretty good. I don't remember where it came from, like where it was purchased or whatever, but it's pretty good. It's just trying to find. Oh, it's the Jim Beam Distillery is where it came from.
Oh,
yeah,
sweet.
I think this is the one.
Yeah.
Sorry it took me so long to try it out, but man, that's a good find. That's pretty good. What do you got, Jonathan?
So last week I went perusing at the local Quick Mart, and I seen they had a bottle of Jameson Triple Triple, and I'd brought one back from Ireland with me, but it's different than this one. And so this one is triple distilled, triple cask. So they put the whiskey in a bourbon cask and let it sit, and then put another part of the mixture, the blend, in a sherry cask and another one in a chestnut cask. And all of them are very blended together, and it's pretty good for Irish whiskey. Unique flavors. I'll be honest, I've just poured myself the last bit of the bottle, so
gonna be a good podcast.
That's right. So Tony, what do you got going on, sir?
Well, I feel inferior. I have, I'm kind of with Jason. I'm going with the classic simple. I just got the Jameson on the rocks.
Tony, you're muted.
Wait, is he? I can hear him.
Oh, I can hear him.
Oh, shoot.
Oh no.
So the whole bottle you say, Jonathan?
Who's in this room with me?
How many voices do you hear, Jonathan?
So you can't hear Tony at all?
I can now. It was showing him muted on my end.
No.
Oh.
Triple. I gotta remember that one.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Sorry,
cool.
Tony.
So, oh yeah.
What we talk about tonight, Jason?
Well, I was thinking, so we've all been bourbon drinkers for a while, but remember whenever we first started, and it was the big wide world of bourbons, and you didn't know, cask and smells and all that kind of stuff, and you just you pick stuff out. You were like, yeah, it's good bourbon, and you just kind of had that feeling that you're like, I don't know, maybe I'm not getting it, but eventually it kind of clicks and everything goes, well, it's kind of like impostor syndrome. So impostor syndrome is where you've got a job, or maybe you've been in a job for a while and you've been handed a big project or something like that, and you're trying to accomplish something and you just don't feel like you're getting it, but everybody around you is like, you got this, like you're killing it, and you're like, just deep inside you're like, I don't know. But then eventually it all kind of clicks, or maybe it doesn't. But how we could kick around some of the topics like about that. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. Speaking of introductions into bourbon, I had a former manager who was really like nosedive right into the bourbon scene, was buying, if it said bourbon on the label, he was buying it. And then it was one of those things where they felt like they knew everything about bourbon, but come to find out that later on they had these realizations like, oh, like some of these bottles are filled at the same distillery. It's the same bourbon in both because they backfill from, or they buy quantities of just bourbon to fill their brand, to start their brand and all that, or things like knowing what the mash bill is and stuff like that. And I've never been the type of person that can get into a job and be like, oh yeah, I know what this is, and I know what this is, and I can do this, and I can do this. Like for me, it's always like, okay, so this is what this, okay. And it's not like I'm seeing it for the first time. It's just building that structure in my head. And that imposter syndrome, I'm curious, at the point, if you ever get to where you don't have imposter syndrome, do you lose your comfort, or do you lose that drive to keep learning?
I was almost thinking the inverse. Like it's almost impossible not to have imposter syndrome in this career in particular, because it is constantly changing, like, and it's constantly growing to the point where you could never really be an expert in anything, because tomorrow your whole world could change.
Oh yeah. Talking about CMEs for certifications and realizing how you're basically retaking the exam each time, with new questions because it keeps changing.
So, I mean, yeah, how could you ever be satisfied? How do you know when you're doing enough, really?
And then balancing that with holding off burnout, where you're just like, you know what? I'm kind of tired of doing all this.
Oh, that's good too. Like for you guys, is it sort of like, have you got the the burnout under control, or is it? So for me, it's like I kind of like go in waves. Like I feel like I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm really progressing, and then I just kind of stall for a little bit, and then it kicks back up. And I know the first time I did it, like early on in my career, I'm like, oh no, this is, I kind of spiraled a bit. I was like, I used to be, I could, blow through a couple books a week, and I could do this and I could do that. Now I'm not motivated to do anything. And I get kind of discouraged, and then, everything just kind of writes itself, and I'm right back where I am. And now, many years into my career, I realize, oh, that's just the flight pattern. So I can kind of recognize and adapt to it. But how do you guys, like, what's yours look like?
I feel like I'm kind of in the same boat where it comes in waves, but then also the burnout of just like where you become mentally done and you almost need to mentally check out. And I think that's the point where I realize, oh, okay, I need to take some time off. I need to find a way to completely recharge and disconnect. And then I can come back in and feel fresh and relearn some things, obviously, because even though you might just been disconnected for a week or two, some things have changed. And it's suddenly like the lights are kicking and neurons are firing again. And it's just, to me, it's rejuvenating.
And I think your team that you work with is a key part of it. I think if you do not have a team that you enjoy working with or that inspires you, I would put it similar to being like on a sports team or maybe a musical group or something like that. Like the people you're with, or even your own family, like your brothers and stuff. Like the people you're with, are they positive influences on you, or are they negative influences on you? And if you don't have that connection, I think the burnout, you feel the isolation, and I think you burn hotter alone, so to speak.
Yeah, it's good to have people checking on you. Yeah, for sure.
And I like because I'm not a sports guy, but I am kind of competitive. So it's nice to see, like, if somebody else is, and it doesn't have to necessarily be not competing for the same thing. Like, it's not like we're trying to, complete the project the fastest or something, like the same project, but just somebody else on the team who's like really shining in their area. it's inspiring to see that and motivates you to keep going. And I think that's, I've seen teams before where everybody's just kind of burned out, everybody's just kind of there, and the star players are like, well, why should I put forth so much effort if everybody else is given, I'm not going to get 110% if everybody else is given 10%.
Yeah, that kind of circles around to something I wanted to touch on with the idea of like everything would be great if it was just like a meritocracy type thing, but that's not necessarily true, because in a complete meritocracy, you are not friends with your coworkers, because it's almost a zero sum. If they're getting the advancing, or if they're working harder than you, then they're going to get the recognition and the merit reward that you're not, kind of thing. And it's something about the adversary. A lot of these groups that plan these major attempts for breaches or thefts and things like that, they operate as they have to have this balance where they operate as these merit, because you're not going to make it if you're not given 100%. Like, they're not going to keep you around. But in places where we work, we do keep people around who aren't giving 110%, and we see that affect people that are striving to be better, bringing them back. So there's this balance where you have to have some sort of keeping the good people, but you also have to have some balance where they don't constantly burning each other or at each other's throats in the process. I just said a lot of words, and I'm hoping it made sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So you kind of like, I've seen a lot of like cybersecurity professionals have that drive and have that, that passion. And I think it's also, the adversary, bad actors, all that kind of stuff, they're trying to, you've got that little bit of competition there to keep you going and motivated. But what about other fields? Like, we've all worked in, I mainly, tech and infosec my career, but still like get to see how other like departments in organizations and stuff work. Do you see that kind of drive, I guess, with other teams?
I'm thinking back. I've worn many hats, and I'm trying to think of. I will say it's usually the most drive I've seen for improvement and things that have been on more technical teams. I think the further it gets away from the pure technical aspect, the more diluted it gets. There's a lot.
Fortunately, I'm in the same boat. That's what I was sitting here trying to think of a counter to that, and I'm struggling, Ben.
Yeah, it's one of my biggest complaints about the cybersecurity scene, so to speak, is a lot of it is just people trying to get people to attend conferences to hear them talk about something, and not a lot of actual, I guess, work in the field, if that makes sense. But I guess you find that in any career field. Is it because we are all hailing the machine?
All what? I'm sorry.
All hailing the machine, so to speak. We're all just working to build the giant bender. Remember me.
I know, like, for me, it's something I'm very passionate about, and even like some of my like most the fun I can have, I don't know, like after hours. This is going to be really nerdy, but like my home lab, I love just tinkering and exploring new stuff that's out there, and like new open source tools, trying new attacks, all that kind of stuff. And I don't. And okay, well, like my wife's a personal trainer, and she, like, after a day of working out, like she'll go and attend other personal trainers classes and stuff, because she likes working out. She likes, physical activity. She likes seeing people get healthy and better and everything. And I don't mean to offend any accountants out there, but do accountants go home and they're like, oh boy, gonna do my taxes? Like,
it's like chefs don't actually cook at home, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. went on a few month thing where I was just taking any device I could and figuring out how can I get this to run my own code.
Doom. Gotcha.
right.
Yeah.
I took one, I got it, and I was like, all right, cool. The next one. Got it? Okay, cool. I'll go to the next one. All these were kind of based on similar architecture, all like Raspberry Pis and stuff like that. And then when I got to, I did the last one, I was like, I didn't even do anything further with them. I just kind of, they're on a pile. Like after I was done, I was like, now I need something else. Something else to tinker with. Just
Okay.
Realization.
So you're a lot like me. So I'll do a lot of my projects. I realize, and it's sad that I've taken this long in my lifetime to realize it, but excuse me, I'm doing the project for the project's sake. Like, can I do this? Oh, I can. Neat. All right. Well, that goes in a drawer.
Right. Yeah. I just end up with stacks of junk that all unlock so much potential, but it's just going to sit on the shelf and gather dust.
Yeah.
But I look at it as it'll be there when I'm ready with my next new idea
Yeah.
on what
I'll
I
have
can
the
do
parts.
with it. Yep.
I was cracking up a little bit on to myself on the accountant thing, and I was like, well, what other fields would be that way? Then I was like, surgeons. Do surgeons go home and the the wife's like, oh man, my stomach hurts. Well, let's do an appendectomy.
Hey, you got any boils I need to lance?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of.
I mean, I don't think the neighborhood veterinarian is like, fixing the neighborhood cats and dogs in his garage, but I don't know. Could be wrong. But what do you see? Like, how would? Because I know we've all seen it before. Like, what those? So if you have somebody who doesn't have that drive, who's there basically for the job, for the paycheck, really, is there you see a lot of the cybersecurity field, the tech field and everything, they're very driven, they're very motivated. It seems to correct itself, but are there other areas where people can get away with not doing anything?
Well,
You mean government jobs?
Yeah, I was going to say we can look at the public sector.
Well, I guess I was kind of getting hung up on the idea about when people get complacent and not trying to improve. To me, that's where like the ransom as a service really comes into play. It's easy to stand up for the attacker and look at what it's taken advantage of, or even the phishing as a service, just all of those, because they've got, that person doesn't have any care. They're just, yeah, whatever. I'll just click on it. Let's go.
Yeah, I guess that does tend to thin out the field a little bit whenever, well, what happened? How did we get ransomed? Well, George over there on the security team, like, didn't, whatever. He clicked a link or didn't patch a server, whatever.
Wait a minute. Why is George on the security team? You don't want to throw any other team under the bus. I see what you're up to.
Well, I'm just saying that's like that. It tends to expose weaknesses quicker than other fields. And again, I don't have enough experience. And man, if you're an accountant and tuning into this podcast, I am so sorry. But accountants, I feel like maybe they could get away with a little bit more. Like they're not as exposed. Like somebody who's just kind of there for the paycheck and they can kind of phone it in a little bit, where you don't really have that luxury in cybersecurity.
Like one of the things with like an accountant is they probably balance their checkbook, their personal checkbook, right?
Yeah. Well, tune in next week where we bash more accountants.
Good luck with your taxes this season, guys.
Well, I'm getting
an extension.
I'm getting an audit. Nope, that's his audit.
And out it.
What do we think? We start winding it down?
Yeah. How do we bring this around?
We need a nugget and a positive spin, like something to leave the audience with.
What about if you're not making strides in a positive area, then maybe you're not in the right field. Find what you're passionate about. Don't try to fail upwards.
Oh, yeah.
Or hey, here's the positive spin. Don't worry. In a few years, your job's gone to AI anyways. You'll be fine.
Quantum computing will
Just going to crack all our passwords.
Yeah. Break all the encryption.
All right. So now we got, if you had imposter syndrome, now you've got an existential crisis. So tune in next week if there is a next week.
I guess you could say you need to keep the fire burning somehow, right? You need to figure out what you truly enjoy about what your work is and try to enhance that. Try to focus on the parts that you really enjoy and figure out how to make that worth the hassle, so to speak. Like when professional athletes retire, the thing that they say that makes them not want to play or not go through with it is like the meetings and practice and the study and everything else. Like they love playing the game, but they don't like doing everything that goes into it. And I think you can relate to that if you think of it as like your continuing education or in your constant learning. If that's getting to you, you need to find a way to balance and not burn yourself out.
Yeah, I like that. And one of the best pieces of advice that I have that still to this day is just burned into my brain. I was stuck in a section in Monkey Island whenever I was a kid. My all-time favorite game. I love that game. And I was stuck, and I knew I was close to the end. I knew it, and I just wanted to get there. And I remember just begging my parents to be able to call the hotline, and they're like, "Okay, fine, whatever. Like if you mow the lawn today, then that covers the $1 a minute or whatever that they're charging for the LucasArts hotline." So I called it up, and the whole thing was like a trail of like, where are you in the game? It was all automated, and it's like, press 1 if you're at the three-headed monkey. And it was so painful to get to. But whenever I finally got to this section that I needed help on, the hint was, sometimes you just need a fresh perspective on it. Go outside, enjoy some fresh air. It'll come to you. Thanks for calling the LucasArts hotline, and hung up on me. And I was furious. So furious. I went outside and I told my parents I'd mow the lawn, so I did. And I mowed the lawn, came inside, I was getting, showered and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, hey. And I went and yeah, sure enough, like finished the game. And so sometimes you just need to take a break, get some fresh air, go mow your parents' lawn. It'll come to you.
I like it.
All right. Well, that's our show. Hopefully next week let's watch the trends and see how many of our accountant population has dropped off. But until then, I'm Jason.
This has been
Jonathan.
Tony.
See you all next time. Talk to you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.